Sunday Night Football, Broncos, Chiefs, and $100,000 could be yours. Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Jason Mattis with Winning Bets. Thanks for hanging out with me on this episode. That's right, it's Sunday Night Football that we've come to really love, and with that, we can win $100,000 on the NBC Sports Predictor app. All we gotta do is correctly answer 7 questions, and that jackpot can be yours. If you can't do that, they'll still give away a guaranteed $5,000 prize to the group of people that can get the most right. Each question is varied a little bit. Some were worth 5 points or 10 points, but basically you answer the questions, you get points, you get money. You guys know how it works. Last week we did pretty decently. I was really impressed that we took the Aaron Rodgers under 225 passing yards, and we got that question right. And I was able to tell based on always look through the app and see kind of what other people pick after the fact. And a lot of people didn't have that Aaron Rodgers 225 passing yards. So that felt really good to get that one right. We also got the number of receptions right for Deontay Adams. So that one also felt good. And then, of course, we got the winner alongside everybody else got the winner. And, everybody picked the Packers over the Bears, of course. Obviously, we didn't get them all right, though. We didn't get the jackpot. So we'll certainly try again this week. Again, it's the Broncos and the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. So let's see how we'll do it. All right, question 1 is Patrick Mahomes' passing yard and TDs. He's averaging 318 passing yards per game this season. He's averaging 2.7 TDs per season, or over the season, right? Broncos defense is allowing 210 yards per game this season. I wanted to look and see what happened earlier on in the game this season in 2020, and Mahomes passed for 200 passing yards that game. He even blew them out by 27 points, and yet he only had 200 yards in that game. In 2019, I also wanted to look and see how Mahomes did because relatively same scheme, same players here. He passed for 340 yards in one of the matchups. The other matchup he didn't play. Instead, it was Matt Moore. He got just over 200. But I really will obviously want to focus on Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes is a better player than Matt Moore, obviously. So he got 340 yards. The games in 2019 and in 2020, all 3 of them were blowouts. The Broncos defense is number 10 overall. They're number 8 against the pass, and they're number 26 against the rush. So maybe that'll give you an insight on maybe how Andy Reid will attack this. Obviously, that Broncos defense is good against the pass, but not so much against the run. So I took his average going this season of 318, banged it against what he did earlier this season against the Broncos. Also in 2019, the Broncos got that average, and then I banged that up against the Broncos pass defense in 2020, and I got 248 yards. So I'm going to go ahead and lock in on 235 to 274 yards, and I think Mahomes will get 3 touchdowns. All right, question 2, Tyreek Hill, reception and yards. Another question, obviously, like I just said on the top, that we've done, that we've done pretty well at here. His average yardage per catch is at 15 yards. His average yards per game is at 93. He's tied for second in the NFL in big plays, and big plays is 20 or more yardage. He's got 16 of those. So obviously we know Tyreek Hill's the home run threat on this team. He's first in TDs with 13. He's number 1 in targets with 101. He's number 2 on the team in receptions at 68. I'm going to go ahead and take his average there of receptions, of course, over the course of the game of 68, which is 6 receptions per game. So I'll lock in on 6 receptions and put him in that 81 to 92 slot. Obviously, it just comes down to hoping he doesn't have a big play. He has a big play. It's over if I'm only predicting 81 to 92 yards. Total points scored in the second quarter. Well, the Chiefs are scoring 9.8, which is 5th best in the league. The Broncos are only scoring 4.4, which is 29th in the league. The Chiefs are allowing the 11th best, 6.7 points in the second quarter, while the Broncos are allowing 9.1 points in the second quarter. So I took the average scored against the average against, which was 7. And I went ahead, though. You need luck in this game, right? Everything can't be data-driven. I answer almost all of these questions week in, week out on data-driven. And it's not enough to hit the jackpot because you need luck. I'm going to go ahead, even though the data says 7 points, I'm going to lock it on at 14 points is what I'm going to get this one at. So Chiefs are overall 14 points will be scored in the second quarter. Another question that we do relatively successful at is the first TD, but this one's asking the first TD of the second half. Edwards-Helaire has 5 TDs. One of those is passing. Tyreek Hill has 14 TDs. One of those is rushing. I said 13 earlier, but I didn't count in that rushing because earlier the question wasn't asking about rushing. Travis Kelce's got 7 TDs. Demarcus Robinson's got 2 TDs. And any other player for the Chiefs, you've got 12 TDs from 8 different players. If we look at the Broncos, they give you Melvin Gordon. He's got 7 TDs. One of those is via the passing. Jerry Jeudy's got 2 TDs. And any other player for the Broncos, you get 12 TDs from 7 different players. Some notes here that I like to. You can't really predict Demarcus Robinson given the other options. I don't know how. I mean, they give you Demarcus Robinson, but I don't know how you actually pick Demarcus Robinson to be the first TD of the second half when you get Kelce, when you get Edwards-Helaire, and you get Tyreek Hill to pick from. So to me, that's really a toss-up. And even picking Demarcus Robinson, Hardman on that team has more TDs at 3, and Watkins is tied at 2. So if you're thinking Demarcus Robinson, I don't know how you pick that. I would go any other player because you get Hardman and like I said, Sammy Watkins, who's level on touchdowns there with Robinson. Anyways, Edwards-Helaire, he even has more targets than Robinson as well. So Edwards-Helaire has more targets than Robinson. Clearly, he's the number 1 back, and he's obviously used in the passing game more than Robinson. So just wanted to go ahead and obviously dismiss anything I might be picking about Robinson. That sure as hell won't be happening. I want to look at Travis Kelce, though. He's tied for 4th in big plays. He's 5th in yards after the catch, and tied for 10th in TDs with 7. That's across the entire NFL. In terms of the team, he's number 2 in targets, which is only 3 behind Tyreek Hill, and he's number 1 there in receptions. So now in terms of I'm concerned, it's between Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Kelce catches 76% of his passes. Tyreek Hill catches only 67% of his passes. Again, we've already talked about Hill through the previous question. I'm going to go ahead and lock in on Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is going to be the guy for me. I like that he's the red zone threat on this team, but I also like that not all of his touchdowns come in the red zone, where he can, work any part of the field and get his touchdowns as we see. But with Tyreek Hill, the closer they get to the end zone, his number is not going to be called as much. You don't have as much field to work with. So you get closer to that end zone, Tyreek Hill's chances go away. Kelce's, I would say, stays certainly no worse. It obviously gets a little bit greater the closer they get because he's the red zone threat, but he still has an opportunity outside the red zone. Kelce does. He catches touchdowns outside of the red zone. We've seen that year in, year out. The only thing that slightly makes me nervous is we had this matchup against the Chiefs and the Raiders a few weeks ago. I picked Travis Kelce on that one. We missed that. It was actually a Raiders player. It was Jacobs there. So we'll just see. Hopefully Kelce can be cool and get that first TD there in the second half. But I like Kelce there. Question 5 is what's the longest touchdown of the game? A little bit of a toss-up here. I mean, it basically comes down to, do you think there's going to be a big, play there from the Broncos? Will Tyreek Hill maybe get up over the top and get one of his big catches there? I don't like how the game tells you that the Chiefs' longest play isn't 75 yards, because Tyreek Hill caught a 75-yard touchdown last week against the Bucs. So don't listen to the app here. The app is really wrong week in, week out in the information it provides. So anyways, I just took the Broncos' 2 biggest plays. I took the Chiefs' 2 biggest plays, got an average. So I'm going to lock in on 53 to 59 yards. It's going to be the longest touchdown of the game. Question 6 is what's the longest field goal of the game? Well, the Chiefs are 3 for 3 from 50 plus. Their most common range is from that 30 to 39 yards with 7 for 7 there. The Broncos are 7 of 8 for 50 plus, and they're 8 for 8 in their most common range, which is 40 to 49. Look, I'm going to lean on big leg Brandon McManus. I mean, the guy's 7 from 8 to 50 plus. The offense generally sucks, so that's why they're settling for 8 50-plus yard field goals, while the Chiefs have only settled for 3. So give me a good Chiefs defense against a shitty Broncos offense. They're going to settle for a long field goal. You can get a big long field goal because you got Brandon McManus, a big leg, strong guy. He's going to boot the shit out of one of these balls. So it's 53-plus yards for me for the longest field goal of the game. And we know question 7 is always, what's the winner and what's the margin? Well, the Chiefs line, or the line is currently Chiefs minus 13.5. I went ahead and looked at the 3 last games here against the Broncos, the 1 in 2019, or the 2 in 2019 and the 1 in 2020, all won by the Broncos, took their win margins and just did the average, and the average was 23.6. They're beating the hell out of these Broncos. They're going to do it again Sunday night. I'm going to go ahead and say the Chiefs win this game by 21 plus points. And that's how I'm going to round out my chances to win $100,000 on this Sunday Night Football between the Broncos and the Chiefs. Go ahead and like this video if I've been of help to you, and go ahead and share it to your friends. Let's all win that $100,000. Otherwise, guys, there's plenty of contests you can win this week. We got the $100,000 on the Fox Bet Super 6 app. There's $25,000 on the Play Barstools app. So go ahead, get your picks in for those contests. And as always, I wish you all the luck in all your picks. And I'm Jason Mattis. I'll see you guys on the next contest. Thanks for watching this episode of Winning Bets. I'm Jason Mattis. I'll see you again when we are celebrating the wins and making more winning bets. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more winning bets.